All right, welcome to Mainly Made this morning. We are doing a live art demo. This is the mandala that we started a week or so ago. Um, when we last left, I believe we had gotten to the blue and the purple single dots here. We had started in the center, worked our way out with our colors, and worked our way out with the different sizes of styluses. We use acrylic rods like this in different sizes, and we start with the large and work our way out. And then after I did the live, I kept painting for just a bit, and I added these little, I don't know, we'll call them the little swirls on the outside. So this about fits the ends of the canvas here on either side. There's not a whole lot we can do outside of this. So we're going to stop here and we're going to start filling in. We're going to do an additional row of top dots, which I briefly mentioned last time. And then we're going to fill in some of these black spaces through here. So we're just going to jump in and get started, and maybe we'll have some folks come in and see what's happening over here on Mainly Made this morning. Okay, so we're doing rainbow colors. Paints are all set out. They're just basic bottle acrylic paints, not showing brands because there's so many different brands, and you can get these at any craft store. You can do any background color you would like. I chose black. You can do any color scheme that you would like. I chose rainbow because when we first started this, we were coming off the color weekend over on Knickknacks. And so I just wanted to keep in line with the bright colors, and that's the reason that we started uh, with this. So we're going to get going here. I'm going to try to not bang around the camera and make you all dizzy today, but I'm getting my chair hung in my tripod, and I'm going to take a second to here move this around a little bit and make some adjustments. We're going to kind of turn it that way. I think that will work. Okay, so I started with the pink red colored center dot, and I'm going to start there again and work my way out again, but this time we're going to do things just a little bit differently. So when we started, we used the biggest stylus that I had, which I think was this one maybe. It might have been a little bit larger, but you can see that one's about the size of that dot. So I'm going to go in this time with one that's not quite that large because we want some of that other color showing. And so I'm just going to decide what color I want to start with. And I want to keep the pattern, the Roy G. Biv pattern, going as far as the order that I want to do colors, but of course we've got to do another color on top. So I thought about it earlier, what color would look nice to start with here. And I think, let's see, I wanted to end up with the green here. So that would be yellow, orange, red, purple, blue. But I also think maybe I thought about doing the yellow because there are some, I think that would bring that yellow that's one of the larger colors here on the outside. I think that was sort of it. We're going to go with yellow. Decision made. Welcome in. We are finishing up a mandala painting that we started a couple weeks ago. And so we're just going to put a top dot right here on the center of this dot, and I'm just going to press down and lift up. So we've got that dot going. And we need a paper towel. I'm going to just wipe that stylus off. We don't have to use any paint. Water, I'm sorry, we have to use paint. We don't have to use any water. Can you hear me okay? You're the first person in. If you're still here, make sure you can hear me. I'm using earbuds, and I want to be sure the sound is coming through. Okay. All right. So now we're going to go to our next color that we want to be around here, which is going to be green. So I'm going to do some green dots around on these, and I'm trying to figure out which one. All right. So this is the first time since we've been doing this together that I've used one of these styluses that have the little balls on the end. And so these are also the tools that I use to do these graduated dots. When you load your paint on this point and you touch down and down and down and down and down and down, gradually all that paint runs right off that little dot. And that's how you get all those. And we'll be doing something similar so you can see how that works later. But right now, I'm going with green, and I'm just going to touch a dot right in the center of each of these. So see, we're just building up this color. And lots of the paintings that I have done, I really like the way it looks to get a couple of different dot layers. It just adds even more color in. And we are just dipping into the paint and then just going down right in the center just until we barely almost touch the surface. Sometimes I actually do kind of touch the surface of the canvas, and sometimes with the stylus, and sometimes I just put it until the paint touches. And I'll go all the way down. Alright, so now we are going to go on to the next size dot, and I'm thinking that this acrylic stylus might fit just right. So we want to, when we're doing top dots, we want to use a size that doesn't go all the way out to the edges. So we started in the center this time with yellow, green, and the next color is blue in the sequence. So we're going to do blue dots on top of our yellow dots. So just going around. I mentioned when I did this earlier, I don't know if you may have seen the previous live, rewatched it or such, but when I'm doing this and I don't have a camera sitting here, I am centered right over the top of this thing so that I have a good vantage point of the dots and getting them perfectly centered. And so it's a little bit awkward and hard to get them quite centered when you're off to the side, when you're of the age that you're losing your what used to always be 20/20 vision. Sure, some of you are there with me. All right. All right, we have that round of dots. Now, we're going to start filling in. We've got about 3 rows done. This is a good time to add in some of our little filler dots in the black spaces. So I'm going to see if we can lower this just a little bit, get a little bit closer. Okay, I think you'll be able to see a little better. Now, anywhere there's a little bit of black space, we like to put a little color in there if we can. And, you just have to play with this. So what I have learned is that you can use the dots themselves when you're using the smaller stylus to dip your paint. So I'm just going to repeat this yellow color with little teeny itty bitty dots in these little black spaces right around here. Okay. Oops. One more. All right. So I'm going to do the same thing now with the next size up. Actually, I'm trying to decide if I want to use that same. So now we're going to go, I'm going to take this green and pull it up this way. And that green has actually dried just enough that it's not wanting to dot well. And I've kind of made these dots look sort of weird. So we're going to abandon ship on using the dot, and we're just going to dip. So when you want to get the two different size dots, if you dot once, again, once, and then again, you know, we are not aiming for perfection here. We are just aiming for fun and relaxation. And if it turns out to be something beautiful, that's awesome. And if it turns out to be a piece of junk, we will paint over it and reuse the canvas for something else. So no stress. Part of art is just kind of jumping in and doing it and seeing what happens. So I'm going to dot right over those two because they're not very dark. Alright, so we've just pulled a little bit of that green and filled in some of those spaces. Welcome in. We're doing a Mandala Monday. Can you hear me okay? I'm trying to figure out if my voice is being heard. I'm using earphones, and I'm not sure that it's picking me up. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for responding. Now I can chill out about that. That was stressing. Can they hear me? All right, so we started this mandala about a couple weeks ago, and we're back to it now. And I'm just, all of this outer section, all of this is dry from before. So we are going into the center, and we're starting to work our way out again. And we are doing what we call top dots. And so we're adding additional dots onto the dots that you'll see. You'll see just in this section here, I've added the top dots. And then we're also filling in these spaces. And so right now I'm on this section here, and I'm bringing this blue from this previous dot here, and we're just dotting a couple dots, tap into the paint once, and then hit twice. Try to make sure they're kind of centered and lined up. And we're just going around. So I'm in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. It's in the northwest corner of Alabama. We live right on the edge of the Tennessee River. We're about 2 hours from Birmingham, 3 hours from Memphis, 2 hours from Nashville. So we can hop in a car and be in some really cool places in about 2 hours, or to an international airport that'll take us anywhere. So where are you guys from this morning? All right, we've got those dots. Now, we're on to the green dots that we need to do top dots on. So the first thing I'm going to do is figure out which one of my acrylic tools, and this is what we're using here, these little acrylic rods, which one of these is going to be the best fit. And we want it to not completely cover the dot that we're going. We want some of that other color to show underneath. And so we are going to use this one, and the next color is purple. So when we started, we did red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple, but we started with yellow today. We're going the colors in the same order, we just started a different one. So yellow, green, blue, and now purple. And we're just going to go around, and we touch into the paint, and we go straight down and do this dot. Different brands of paint have different consistencies, I guess. And then too, also, the longer they sit on your shelf, sometimes they thicken up. And this purple is just a really nice thickness for these dots. Sometimes if the paint is too thin, it's hard to make them look perfect. And I'm sure there are products that you can use to either thicken the paint or to thin it however you need it, but I just use it straight out of the bottle. And if it's not working, I'll get a different color. So almost done on this row. And then we're going to use this same purple, and we're going to do some dots between the blue ones in the next row. Alright, wiping this off, just get the paint off, ready for the next one. And let's see. think we're ready for a little bit larger dots now. So this purple one, this blue one here that I'm using, I don't know if you can see that. It's just that dot on the ball on the end of it. So we're going to touch it in the paint. And then we're going to do, let's see, 2 here. Just filling in some of these spaces. Go all the way around and do this. This takes some patience, takes steady hand, and I enjoy just putting in some music and dotting. I'm going to move up here, get these, and then work my way back around. Okay, done with that. Welcome in. Thanks for coming by. We are finishing up a mandala painting that we did a couple weeks ago. So when we left last time, we were to these purple and green circles at the end. You can go back and watch that live. That is, and where you go and rewatch. And then I did some of these dots on the outside after we did our live that day. And today we're going back in and we're doing our top dots and we're doing some fillers. So each one of these dots, I'm adding a second color on top. So we have gotten to these blue dots here. And so the next color in the sequence is the red. And so we are figuring out which stylus makes the best spot without completely covering the color, just by measuring. And now I'm going to dip, and I'm going to just touch right down in the center. So when you're doing these dot mandalas, you want to just go straight down at, I guess that's a 90-degree angle, and just enough to get the paint off of the stylus and down. And it's much easier to be hovering right over the top of the thing than to do it from the side, but that's okay. We're here, we're having fun. Got some music going. Air conditioner's working. And it's Monday, right? Hope your Monday is better than a normal Monday. Hope y'all had a great weekend. My husband and I are kind of lazy this weekend. We've been out of town several times lately, and so we enjoyed a weekend at home. My son came over. We spent a little time out in the water, and we live on the lake, so got the big lily pad out, floated around on the water a little bit, and had a good time. All right, so now we're going to take our little other dotting tool, and we're going to take that color up here. And I'm going to try this again since these are wet. I think it's going to let me. I'm just going to touch it here. We're just doing a couple dots just to fill some space. And notice when you use these on the ball, that have the ball on the end, when you touch, each time you touch after you hit the paint, a little bit more of the paint comes off, and they're kind of a graduated size. So the first one is larger and so on. So we're just going to fill in these spaces. All right. Round and round and round we go. Michigan, nice. I just spent a few days in Chicago got to see Lake Michigan for the first time. That was kind of a fun experience. We did the architectural tour and saw the Rolling Stones and concert there at Soldier Field and had a good time. All right, now we're up to this purple dot. The next color after the red is going to be the orange. So we're going to put the orange on top of the purple. And let's see, I think this is about the right size. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Okay, so we have this peachy orange color here, and we're just going to touch down. We're going to do a dot right inside the purple. So we've got a little rim of purple showing around underneath. doing our top dots today. So are you all having like really, really hot weather, hot summer? When we were in Chicago, we had our first day was really hot, and then the next couple days were just perfect weather. Went over to Wrigley Field and saw a Cubs game and enjoyed the cloud bar way up in the sky and saw a beautiful sunset. So that was a lot of fun. Always humid. Yeah, it is always humid here in Alabama too. We are we're on the river, on the Tennessee River, and not only that, but we're 6 hours away from the beach, from Gulf Shores, and anytime there's any kind of hurricane or anything, it usually sweeps right up this way, but we have a lot of humidity. All right, a couple dots. We're touching and dotting. When we left Chicago, we went out to Denver to see a show at Red Rocks, and the weather there in the daytime was really, really hot, but it was really nice in the evenings at Red Rocks, and no humidity at all, hardly out there. In fact, they have like the hotel we stayed in, they had, um, I guess it's a humidifier that actually puts moisture in the air, which was nice because it was so dry from what I was used to. Okay, but I love seeing new places and going and doing new things. And we had been to Denver before, but Chicago was new for me. All right, we are now to the red, and we're going to go on to our next color in the sequence, which is going to be yellow. So we're going to do this next row, and then we're going to take a short little break and look at something else for just a minute. So get these here. That one's a little off-centered, but again, I'm off-centered myself, but that's okay. I'm having fun. I hope y'all are enjoying watching this. I really like the way all these colors kind of, it's hard to go wrong with rainbow colors. And that one's a little off, but it's going to be okay. Alright, almost done with this row. I'm moving a little bit fast, but this isn't my first rodeo. So, I can sure bang into a camera there. But if you decide you ever want to try this, just go slow. Don't be in a rush. It's just best to take your time. All right, so I'd already noticed that the space between these is more of a sideways thing. So we're going to change to doing the dots one on top of the other. To fill this space, we're going to do like two, like this. And so we're just filling in this space. And these are kind of sideways. Go around and get these while this paint is wet. And at this point, I'm going to move up here and go around this other way. And again, the idea is just to fill in where you have this space to put a little dot in here. All right. And the goal is to not stick your hand in it and smear the whole canvas. That's an important thing. All right, so we're going to take just a little break from that for just a second, and I'm going to turn the camera around here and look at you for a sec. Okay. So this is not an auction. I don't have stuff to auction off today, but I do have some stuff that I've made in my um, shop for you to look at. And I have items on Mainly Made and on knickknacks. Of course, pretty much all the handmade stuff is on Mainly Made. So I'm just going to show a couple of this is one of my mandalas that I painted that's in my shop. And you can see this one has uh, purple and silver and some metallic kind of colors. And I almost always add at least a few flatback Swarovski crystals on here just because it adds a little bling. And I don't know if you can see them, but here's one here. And so about every other dot around there has got just one little row, just enough that if it were hanging on your wall and you look at it just right, you get a little flash of a little bling. I just think that adds a little something to it. And we are going to make some earrings if you hang around long enough today. This is a pair that I made a while back, and I don't have any more other than this, which is my pair. This is the only pair I have left from when I made them before. And I have prepped some wood discs, and we're going to do a few of those after we work on this mandala for a few more minutes. So that's coming up. And this weekend, I guess I was manic. I don't know. I made a whole bunch of earrings. I made like 97 pairs of earrings. So I just want to show a couple of these. I'm kind of excited because of the coffee chat that Jocelyn does around knickknacks, and sometimes on Mainly Made. I found some little coffee cup charms. Y'all look at these. How cute are those? So I've got these in several different colors. These are not listed yet. I just finished making these this weekend, but they will be posted in on my little shop there within the next couple of days. So if you want to come back and look for those, or if you want to follow me so you can come back and find me later. So I've got these little coffee cups in several colors. Got blue and pink, and there's black with red, and oh, there's a really sunny yellow. Kind of matches my shirt today. Now that I think about it. Um, so anyway, so I've got a bunch of new earrings. Thank you. I'm glad you're cute. How long have I been doing mandalas? Um, I have been painting mandalas off and on for probably 3 years. It's not something that I do every day, but I do enjoy it. And if I'm having a time when my head is all in 1,000 different directions because I'm kind of ADD and ADHD, if you can't tell, then I put on some music and I sit down, and that will kind of help calm my mind, and I don't have to medicate. Probably should medicate, but anyway. Then I've got some little butterfly ones. So I just made all kinds of earrings this weekend. Found a bunch of cute little charms. I've got butterflies and coffee cups and some mushrooms. And again, these are not listed, but they will be listed in the next couple of days, and I'm just excited about them, and I wanted to share them. And I've got these little mushrooms, and I've got several different colors. So I've got purple, and I've got some red and white ones. So those, be looking for those in my Mainly Made shop here in the next few days. So give me a follow so you can find them. All right, let's get back to painting. I'll flip you back around here. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. All right. When I first left education, I left education in 2018. I was a school counselor with junior high kids for 12 and a half years, and prior to that, I was an elementary teacher. And when I first left education, my first priority was taking care of my parents' estate. I lost my mom and my dad within about 15 months of each other, and my sister lives 2 hours away, and so I had to take care of all that. And my husband just told me, take a break from education and take care of, this estate and get all this done, and we'll see what happens. And what happened was is that I had some time then to allow my creativity to take control. And I started trying to do everything. Mandalas, that's one of the first things I taught myself how to do by using YouTube videos and watching other people do it. And that's one reason I'm happy to share my knowledge here is, the more of us that are out there creating and making things, it makes the world a better place. So not only I do that, I was a church musician, played the piano for 30 years, just retired in April. Started my senior year of high school. I'm a bicentennial baby that'll tell you how old I am. And so I was a church musician, paid position for 30 years, and I gave that up recently. So I do play piano. I'm into photography. I enjoy photography. landscape primarily. I don't really do weddings or portraits or any of that, but um, I just pursue lots of creative interests. And sometimes I frustrate myself because I try to do everything. And when you do too many things, sometimes you don't do any one really well. But I just want to do it all. So I do resin, jewelry, and lots of different things. And so this weekend I was on I need to make some jewelry kick. Look at these amazing charms I found. So I came down to my studio and made jewelry for a couple hours Saturday and a couple hours Sunday, and I was looking forward to getting back to this with you today. So, are there any of you out there that have ever tried to do mandala painting? I see. I get right back to the dotting and I chill out. I get quiet. All right. Now we're going to take a look here for a second and see what kind of dots we need to do. I don't think I want to do any dots here because we've got green and we've got some larger dots from before. So we're going to start with that, and let's figure out what we need to do here for the yellow. The next color after the green is blue, so we're going to go with the blue, and I'm going to use that size, and we're going to start here. Trying to get it centered. When you're not centered, again, I have some different items, some mandalas in my store. If you watched my other live, you probably saw I shared a leather handbag that I have. It's a black circle handbag and painted mandala on it with leather paints. Um, I didn't just use acrylic paints on the leather handbag. I used um, Angelus leather paints. I'm so glad. A second chance vintage. Yeah, art is, if you have the personality, you understand. There's a reason that we have art therapy, is because it is definitely calming for the mind. And when you have that creative brain, and you go for a while and you don't create something, just for me, all of a sudden, I've got to make something. I have to make something. I need to paint something. I need to make something. And once I can do that and get it out of my system, then I'm okay for a little while. But if you have that type of personality, you understand you just have to do something. All right, so I'm not going to do any top dots on these green because all those small dots that we did in the fill-in spaces, I'm not going to top dot any of that. So the last set of top dots that we're going to do are going to be on these purple and green, and I'm sorry, purple and blue. And then I'm going to possibly call this finished after I take a second to look at it. So real quick, we're going to go in here and do that, get these dots on these last row here, and then we are going to do some earrings. Okay, so let me think. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. So we're down kind of at the end of our colors. So I think what I want to do is I'm just going to repeat this blue and this purple here, because I got blue and purple on the outside on the end, and we had the blue and purple here. So I'm just going to top dot. Well, I don't know, because that's going to be a lot of blue. Mm, That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with my instinct. My first instinct was to do it, and so that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to do this little top dot on each of these purples with the blue, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to do the top dot on the blues with purple. And we're going to call this finished. Unless I, find some holes that need to be filled. And because this has gotten so big, I'm going to spin this canvas so I can get the other side. I should be paying a little bit more attention to what you guys are seeing. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's like a depression when you can't create. You're exactly right. You are exactly right. It can get you into a crazy headspace when you got all these ideas and things that you want to do, but then things that you have to do, and I just get ill. If I'm in a mode where I really want to be painting and I can't be painting, or whatever the craft is or art that I'm wanting to do, if I can't do it, I get ill. I'm a much better friend, wife, mom, and I can have some time and paint or craft or edit photographs or whatever it is that creatively that I'm wanting to do that day. I think that's one reason that I enjoyed being an elementary teacher so much, was because I could incorporate elements of art in so many different subject areas. And I enjoyed that. But then I, decided I wanted to go into the counseling office. And I enjoyed that too. I got to build some relationships with junior high kiddos, and that's a real critical time in life. Even though you don't remember it, because you have so many hormones flooding your brain at that point, you don't remember a lot of your junior high years. There are some memories, but if you really think back about it, you probably have more high school memories than you have junior high. But I really enjoyed making the relationships, having relationships with the kids, and being able to have them open up and talk about what was going on in their lives. But then the reality of the school setting for a school counselor is there's so much other paperwork and stuff that you have to do, and making sure report cards are printed and school records are complete and schedules are done and all the things that the amount of time I actually was able to spend one-on-one with kids was minimal to what I really wanted it to be and what it needed to be. All right, let's take a look at it. I'm going to raise you up a little bit so you can see. Pardon the jostling around there. Okay. So this is what we have. There are a few spaces that could probably use a little something, but I think sometimes it's better just to stop. And I think we're in a good spot. And I like how we've kind of got the blue and the purple repeating on the outer. We've got a lot of the yellow and the red repeating in the center. And I think we're going to call it finished. So I'll put it a little closer there so you can see. So we're going to call this one done. Dot Mandala. So let's see if I have a white pen over here. Do. And so what are artists supposed to do? They're supposed to sign their name. Now, what gets tricky with me is because I'm like, well, is it going to hang this way or is it going to hang this way? And it could really hang either way. So I'm just going to kind of sign it around here. And I'd always put the year. And that is not a super bold signature, but it is there. And if it hangs this way or if it hangs that way, it's there but not in your face there. But it is signed by the artist. Yay, we did it. Okay, so I'm going to set this out of the way over here, kind of lean it up so we can admire it and look at it a little bit maybe. And I'm going to get my tray. So again, we did shared with you these earrings. I'm going to turn this around this way because I've got some. Again, try not to touch the wet painting back there. So this is what we are doing. This is our goal. We have a Swarovski crystal in the center. I'm going to make some more of these so that we can, I can get them listed on the page. They're very lightweight because these wood discs are very light. These are just little wood discs. I have already prepped these by painting them black. What I have here, this is just the lid to one of my plastic containers, and I covered it with the cling wrap, not it's the press and seal. So I didn't want to get paint on my container, but I needed something I could lay all these on and move them. And so I just used press and seal over this lid, so I'll be able to peel it off and all this paint will not be stuck on here. Second Chance Vintage, if you come back and watch the rest later, thank you. I hope you have a good day at work and you have a great day as well. And if you're just coming in, welcome. We just finished this mandala that's back here in the background. We did the top, we started it a few weeks ago, and that live is out there available for you to watch on how to and how to start one. We finished it today. We added the top dots and we filled in some space. And then we're going to talk about these earrings, and we're going to do some of these earrings. So small wood discs, painted black because that's the color I like for these rainbow colors. And we're just going to jump in here and paint them. And so you'll get to kind of see how it is to start a mandala from scratch. So I'm going to get some of these kind of slid out of the way so we're not looking at all of them. I'm going to lower you back down so you can kind of see what I'm doing. If my tripod will cooperate. I don't know if it's my error. Okay, there we go. All right. Slide this over just a little bit because we're working with smaller here. So when we are doing mandalas, we use dotting tools, and these are just acrylic rods. I showed these in the last live, and in case you missed that, that's what we're using. These are just little rods with perfectly shaped circles on the ends, and that's what we dip into our paint. And normally what we do is we start with a big dot in the center, and we work our way out to the smaller rods. And we also have, for some really small ones, these types of styluses that are, I think they're actually for fingernails, but they have the little balls on the end and they're double ended, so you've got one size on one end and another size on the other, so we use those as well. And just basic acrylic paints, any brand will do in these types of bottles that you can get at craft stores. So we're keeping with the rainbow theme, and we're going to do like what we have done here previously. And so I'm going to kind of go back here, and I'm going to use this to figure out what size dot it was that I used when I started that one, and it looks like it was this blue one. So that's what we're going to do. Now we're going to have to guesstimate to find the center. So let's see, I'm going to try to get over it a little bit better here, and kind of wanted to stick on me there. And let's do this one. And I'm going to hold it this time. Alright, and that bubbled. Okay, so we've got our first dot, and then we just wipe our stylus off with paper towel. The next is orange, and we're going to do the smaller dots. And I'm going to guess I probably used about that size right there. Looks about right. Get our orange paint. Now when we do these dots to start like around, when we're initially getting our pattern going, I like to do one at the top and one at the bottom, and then on either side. And I can already tell you I'm not real happy with how this is looking, but we're going to go with this pair, and we might, if we start another pair, we might do a smaller dot in the middle. And so I do the 4. And after you do the 4, then that kind of helps you gauge. So have I got room for 3? Do I have room for 2? I can comfortably do 2 here. So I'm going to evenly space 2. And doing those 4 dots, top, bottom, left, and right, just kind of help to get your spacing. And so we are going close to the center dot and close to each other without touching is the idea, leaving some space. And so this one, we're still going to do 2. Trying to evenly space, and I'm kind of touching on that. Not real happy with it, but we'll keep going. All right, got that done. I'm going to go to the next size. I've got a message up here. Okay, good. I was afraid if I moved that off, I would disappear. Okay, next size is going to be this stick one, red, orange, yellow. We're going to do the yellow. And we just put this dot right in this between the spacing of the previous row. So we go up a size, and then we place the dot between. We go all the way around until they're all done, trying to get close, trying to space evenly, try not to touch. Same thing on this one. So you can see if you're going to do something like earrings and you're going to do a whole lot of them at one time, you could just, keep going with the same color and the same stylist and do several pairs at once. But it's been a little while since I made these, and I just wanted to be sure I was happy with how this turned out before I go in and do a whole bunch of them. So we're just doing the one pair to start. All right. We've got red, orange, yellow. Green is the next color. And do we have enough room to do a larger dot? And I'm just kind of measuring. It's going to go off the side, so we really do not. So I am going to go back to the previous size dot. It's just going to be the same one that I did the orange with, and I'm going to do the green a little bit smaller, but it will actually fit. Again, just right between the dots of the previous row, dipping and touching. Now, I seem to have a little bit of a glob of paint or something that's keeping these from being perfectly round, so alright, got that. And we'll go again on this one. Perfect. Spaced right between each one of the previous dots. Okay. And so I really like these 3 colors together. I'm not sure how well it's coming across on the screen, but I really am liking how this looks. There's a couple bubbles right here. I'm just going to kind of stir that around just a little and flatten that down out. And because I did that one that way, I'm going to do this one too. Alright, So what I'm kind of thinking is that rather than making these all rainbow, and because that I run out of space, I'm going to maybe just stop with these colors and repeat the pink between the green around the edge, and then we'll just call these done. Um, Maybe put some smaller dots to fill in some spaces once they dry, but for now, I think I'm going to get my pink or my what's supposed to be the red representative. I'm going to use my dots, and I'm just going to go 2 little dots around. Do we like that? That way we repeat the color in the center. If there's any of you who are just joining, I'm in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, thanks to the Tennessee River. We have a rich music history, recording studios here. And I don't know if you can hear my music in the background, but this is an Etta James song. It was recorded right here, about 15 minutes away from my house. There's a really good documentary out. I don't know where it is now. It's been on Netflix and Hulu and everywhere, but the name of it is Muscle Shoals. If you're a music person and you haven't seen that, I think you would enjoy it. Rolling Stones, Etta James, Percy Sledge, Leonard Skinner. Lots of people have been here to record music. Okay, so we are going to leave these and let them dry, and we'll try another color. But I think I might try another color another time because we've been on about an hour, and I had a few other things I wanted to share with you. So I'm going to flip you back around here. Go up, flip, let you see my face. I just wanted to share a few other things that I have that are actually in my store. I put some Christmas earrings last week in here for the Christmas in July. So that's a couple of pairs of earrings that I have. I've also got these little enamel ones and some silver candy canes. So between my shop here on Mainly Made and on Knickknacks, you'll find those things. I have done magnets. A while back I made some magnets, and that's what these are. They'll come to you on a card like this with a little um, washer that's glued on, and then the magnet sticks on the card. So that's how those will come to you. And they're a set of 3, and there's several different ones. And these are just 2 that I decided to show. Some glitter. This one has a page out of an old dictionary with a little heart on it. So I used old hymn book and cut some circles out. So there's some music notes in that one and another dictionary page. So those are available in my store. I have these, what I call Bowser baubles, and my cousin laughs at me. Bowser baubles, what are those? Well, I have a lot of vintage jewelry and jewelry, and I've done the Christmas trees with all the jewelry on them, and we'll do a demo with those sometime soon, but I just love old jewelry, and sometimes you just have a single earring, and sometimes you have something that's fallen apart or missing a stone, and I can't bear to throw it away. I don't like to throw things away. So I came up with these, they're like ornaments. They can be hung anywhere, wherever you want to hang something, on a cabinet door, on a Christmas tree, on, your mirror, your rear mirror, whatever. And so they just have different beads and jewelry, and they're just fun little things to hang. And this one was an old earring that I put on there. And then, of course, I did the dot painting around the side. So you'll see Bowser baubles or ornaments or handmade ornaments in my shop, and that's what these are. This is one that I made with an old bangle bracelet that was kind of skin up and everything. So I wove the jute around the bracelet, and then I glued this butterfly, which was a brooch, but the pin was missing off the back. I glued it on this acrylic disc with the E6000, and then I used some other little baubles from other pieces of jewelry right there in the center just to add to it. And you've got some beads up here at the top, and so it kind of will spin, and it would be good to hang anywhere. It's just something, right? I thought it was pretty cute. And a couple more of those that are in my shop. This one is very similar, although it's not a big bangle. It was a wire bracelet that I wove around, and then some different pieces of jewelry there. And this is another one on a wood disc. And you'll see it's just bits of old jewelry, and then I've done some dot painting around, and it's a wood disc. And the ones on the wood are signed. I can't really sign these with the acrylic on the back, but these are all signed. So neat little pieces of art that you could hang wherever. Those are my Bowser baubles. Okay, actually, here's two more I was going to share. These are actually in my store right now for the live. There's one. Again, this is just a wood disc. I've done some dot painting around an old piece of jewelry. I don't really know what this was for. And then this, I added the black rose right in the center. So you see it kind of stands up. So bits of old jewelry and old beads. And a couple old earrings here. And then a little dot painting around. Those are my Bowser baubles. Check those out. And then the last thing I was going to share are some guitar pick earrings because I'm a music lover. So these, I've got a couple of these in my shop on Knickknacks, but I've got some in my shop on Manly Made, and there are different colors in different places. So if you're interested in those, those are there too. So thanks for coming to my live today and listening to me yak and watching me. I'm glad you like them. They're, it's, you know, it's something fun. I have lots of those. It was one of my things I went through. I had a shop in a local art place, and so I needed something to put on my Christmas tree that was handmade, and so that's one of the things I came up with. And so I shut that down at the end of January, and am now exclusively on Mainly Made in Knickknacks and one other platform I'm not going to mention, which is where I have more of my vintage and my jewelry, but all my handmade stuff is here. So anyway, it's fun, and I like creating and making. So check me out. Give me a follow. I'd love for you to give me a follow. And I'm going to go for now. I don't think there's anybody live on here to raid, but thanks for coming in. Message me if I can help you with anything, and be watching for some other demos to pop up. I haven't done any live sales yet. I do want to do that. I'm just trying to get my feet warm with this, with doing the demos, and I will do some other demos with some of my other uh, creative things that I do. So thanks for joining. Give me a follow, and hope to see you next time. Thanks. Bye.